Good morning. Welcome to the three-peat AHL City, Glens Falls, New York. And here we go again. Mayor Jack Diamond. The new general manager of the Calgary Flames via Portland Pirates, Brad Treliving. President of the Adirondack Flames, LLC. More about that coming up. From the Governor's Office and Empire State Development, our friend Arnie Will. We also have so many people in the audience, we want to start right off with the fans. Congratulations, fans. Senator Betty Little. Assemblyman Dan Steck. Omar Usami from Aon Nexon and a member of the Capital Region Economic Development Corporation. Paul Conniff and Doug Birch from the Glens Falls Civic Center Foundation. Dave Strader, NBC Sports, first announcement for the Adirondack Flames. We have members of the Common Council that will be coming up with the mayor, but we want to introduce Scott Endovari, who's here representing the 4th Ward. Jim Clark, representing the 5th Ward. Jim Clark. Nick Campanelli, representing the 1st and East End. Good timing, Bill Collins, 2nd Ward. The President of the Common Council, Dan Hall. Former Councilman Ben Driscoll. We have Peter Oss, President of the Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce. At this point, we would like to introduce a friend, as I've indicated, from Empire State Development, a representative of Governor Cuomo's office, Arnie Will, this morning. Arnie?
Well, it's a great day, guys. I don't need to tell anybody that. On behalf of the Governor, I want to congratulate the community of Glens Falls and welcome the Calgary Flames to Glens Falls. We're going to be a small part of this, but in the end, this is a building, and without the community support, this team wouldn't be here. And the team is here because over the years, this community has continued to support hockey and the American Hockey League, and obviously it's a reason because they're here today. They wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you, the community, and the fans. And again, just from the governor's perspective, we're just glad to provide a small piece of this assistance to make this live. And this lives because of you. So thank you very much.
I'm going to get in trouble for this, but I would like Senator Betty Little, who's been very instrumental in
and who wore the right color. As has been said, the reason that we are going to have hockey in this Civic Center next year is the fans. Because if you have supported hockey from the beginning, I go to the games, season ticket holder, I see the families that are there, the people that are there, the joy, the fun, and just the camaraderie among the fans. So I'm so happy that we are going to have hockey this year, and the whole Civic Center is going to turn to red. So. Glens Falls in 1979 with the Red Wings. And the mayor at that time was the guy right behind me, Ed Bartholomew. So he's been with hockey. Ned Harkness brought them here. Hockey began, hockey leagues, youth hockey leagues, all kinds of activities taking place. And not just in Glens Falls, the whole area. I see folks from Brant Lake, from all over the place, Corinth, people that come down here for these games and come north for the games as well. But Ed has been a big part of that. And he and Mayor Diamond are the two guys we need to thank for continuing, for being persistent, for never giving up, and for bringing this hockey team to Glens Falls. He's become New York's #1 tourist and #1 sports fan. And when he knew what we were trying to do here, he knew it was just as important as keeping the Buffalo Bills in Buffalo and Utica filling their hockey arena. So he has been for us what we needed and is supplying the funds and the help to do what we need to do to keep our place thriving. So many people to thank, but so much fun ahead of us. And let's all get out there, buy those season tickets. Let's just fill this place every single time. Thank you.
As Senator Little indicated, the person that had a plan, despite the critics, the person that had the persistency to bring hockey here, the word now is, Mr. Mayor, get ready, get that sheet of ice back on the floor for this ball. Mayor Diamond.
Thank you very much, Ed. And today, enjoy the moment. I've never seen so much excitement at a press conference as I see today. This is your day. American hockey and tradition of Glens Falls. I thank you. I thank you for your support for the last 5 years. I look forward to seeing you at every home game throughout the next year. But I want to go back in time, as I said, this is a new era for American hockey in Glens Falls Civic Center. Glens Falls has enjoyed 25 years of American hockey, beginning with Detroit Red Wings from 1979 to 1999. Then the Philadelphia Flyers from 2009 to 2014. And today, May 16th, 2014, the Calgary Flames. I would like to take a moment also to recognize some individuals and groups that helped to assist us in this effort. First of all, I'd like to invite the Common Council up here. The Common Council was very passionate about our efforts, and they kept my feet to the fire in this recruitment effort. So I want to acknowledge and thank them for their hard work, their dedication to this building, and knowing how important this building is to our community. So thank you very much. I would like to give credit here today to the Adirondack Regional Chamber of Commerce for believing in this building, believing in the initiative here, knowing how important American hockey is to our Glens Falls, and we look forward to continuing with that working relationship to be successful here. I also would like to include a couple other individuals that weren't probably out in the limelight as much as they'd like to, but I want to thank them today for their efforts. Paul Poniff, with the Glens Falls Civic Center Foundation. Jody Rowland, volunteer from the community. David Andrews, CEO, President of the American Hockey League, and the support of the Board of Governors. Without their approval, we wouldn't be having this press conference. And of course, Rob and Jim Brooks. 5 years ago, they came to Glens Falls with an idea. They took a look at our community. They liked our community. They invested into our community. And without their support here, making a business model that would work within Glens Falls, we wouldn't be here today. So Jen, Rob, I want to thank you on behalf of the citizens of Glens Falls, all the hockey fans, for you coming here, making a commitment, and resurrecting hockey in Glens Falls, New York. So thank you. And of course, last but not least, my partner, President of the Glens Falls Common Council, who came in religiously to sit down and strategize with myself on this effort, Dan Hall. Thank you very much for your help. And last but not least, Warren County's Economic Development President, passionate about Glens Falls, the Civic Center. He wears that on his jacket. Ed Bartholomew. Now it takes great pleasure of mine to introduce to you the Calgary Flames General Manager, Brad Treliving.
Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Well, this is a hockey crowd. The first time I was in this building, it goes back a number of years, and I was a younger guy, much better hair, and it was as a player in the American Hockey League, playing against, at that time, the Adirondack Red Wings. And I used to hate like hell coming in here. It was a difficult place to play. It was a miserable place to play as an opponent. The fans were loud, and we're going to get it back to that again starting next year. We're excited. We're excited as an organization to be in Glens Falls. This is a hockey market. The American Hockey League needs to be in Glens Falls, and particularly from our standpoint, being able to come into a market where there's a tradition. This team has had success over the years. It's our plan moving forward to continue that trail of success. So we're really excited as an organization to be here. For the efforts of everybody involved, keeping a team and a community is important. Regardless of who that team is, regardless of that affiliation, keeping a team and the impact it has in the community is important. And for all those people, and there's many of them, that made this a reality, I thank you, I congratulate you. As part of as on behalf of the Flames, we are just thrilled to be your partner. Just a quick, to give you a little background on us as an organization. You know, as from the hockey perspective, the organization is really, our teams are built on 3 pillars. First, and those pillars will continue from the National Hockey League team on down to the American Hockey League team. Number 1, we believe in an up-tempo and entertaining style. You pay for the price of a ticket. We want to make sure that there's value in that ticket, regardless of the outcome. So we believe in up-tempo. We'll chase the puck in 3 zones. We believe in hitting. Our teams will be physical, and that's going to be at the NHL level and the American Hockey League level. Number 2, we run it as a business. We need to make sound, prudent decisions, and we will do that at both levels. And number 3, community service is a requirement, not an ask. Our players, our coaches, our people be involved in the community more than they have before in any organization they've been, and it's a part of who we are, it's a part of our DNA. You know, it's always difficult talking about the type of team you're going to have in the middle of May here in September. quite honestly, all these players that are going to end up in Glens Falls, hopefully they're all working and training right now to be in Calgary. But what I can tell you is you know, coming into this job as the new manager in Calgary, one of the exciting pieces for me is the prospect list that is being assembled in Calgary. We are going through the process of a building stage. I hate to say rebuilds and all these types of things. We're in a development stage. We're going to try to speed that up as quick as we can. But there is a process to building a National Hockey League Stanley Cup team. It takes patience. It takes, one of the most vital ingredients is what you do in your development standpoint. We have invested greatly and will continue to do so in developing our players. This team in Glens Falls will be the lifeblood. To get to Calgary, you'll be going through Glens Falls. So some of the pieces and some of the prospects that we currently have in the system are exciting. I think there's more prospects here. When I first took this job, or when I was looking at this job over the course of the last few weeks, you know, as you dig in, there's some real exciting players in this organization. We are going to the draft in Philadelphia next month. We hold the 4th overall pick. We have 5 picks in the first 3 rounds. We're going to add to that stable. But our players will know, and our organization will know, that the path to Calgary goes through Glens Falls. And you have to develop players, you have to develop them wisely, and we intend to do that here. I know questions right now, as a new guy coming in, there's a lot of questions for me in terms of our staff. We're working through that right now. Obviously this team is coming from Abbotsford. It was a playoff team last year. There'll be some decisions and discussions that go on over the course of the next few weeks leading up to through the summer into training camp. But one thing I can guarantee you, you will have a team to be proud of come the fall and going into next winter. So on behalf of the organization, organization, thank you greatly for the reception. Thank you for this great audience today, and we look forward to seeing everybody in training camp. Thank you.
Thank you, Brad. I'd like to introduce just a couple of other people. Mike Holditch, the Assistant General Manager of the Calgary Flames and Head of Financial Administration Operations. Mike, good to see you. Time in Glens Falls. Let's go! We also would like to introduce Jeremy Husner from the Glens Falls Civic Center, along with Tim Murphy from Global Spectrum. A number of longtime supporters, but we'd like to recognize Larry Bowman, UA Political and Legislative Director from Local 773, and his wife Vicki. Larry specifically flew back from Washington area to be here this morning, so thank you for that kind of support and dedication. And also would like to introduce the voice of the Adirondack Red Wings here at the Glens Falls Civic Center, Dan Miner. Next, it's a great privilege to introduce our next speaker in a very integral part of our community today and for the foreseeable future, and that is a former Portland guy, now decided Glens Falls looks better fit, Brian Petrovich, now the president of the Adirondack Flames, LLC. Brian.
Friends of the American Hockey League. Before I share a couple of thoughts with you, although you always take a risk when you try and single a few folks out, but it's better to just did appropriately, we wouldn't be here today without the work of Jack and Ed. And my engagement with those individuals started, I think, last September when I was wearing a hat as the managing owner and CEO of the Portland Pirates. We were at a point in our business where we weren't sure if we were going to have a lease in the Cumberland County Civic Center in Portland, and I began the process of looking at other markets. And it didn't take me long to stumble upon Glens Falls because of my history when I was in Utica a long, long time ago. But from the very beginning, their openness, their honesty, their commitment to get to a solution, and at the end of the day, their passion for keeping the American Hockey League here was evident to me. And it was at that point from September all the way through to where I took one hat off and put another one on that I realized that how important they will be moving forward as well. So Ed and Jack, thank you again, and look forward to growing that relationship for many years to come. I can't tell you how excited I am to be here today, to begin what I expect to be a long-term relationship with this community and the region. And how fortunate and somewhat ironic that it begins with Brad, a person I have worked with closely over the last 3 years with our relationship with the Portland Pirates and the Phoenix Coyotes. As most of you now know, I've been fortunate to have run 2 other AHL franchises in the course of my career. The Utica Devils in the late 1980s, and for the past 14 years, the Portland Pirates in Portland, Maine. But today, I consider myself blessed to be able to move to this community and complete the hat trick in Glens Falls. For this to succeed, as you all know, it will take hard work, and we have every intention of delivering on that promise. Our approach will be fans first, and as Brad said, a commitment to community, and a compete level, which is a phrase and an attitude I stole from the Phoenix Coyotes, both on and off the ice, that is second to none. And when we do have fun, and we intend to have a lot of fun in the way we activate our brand in this community, our goal will be to create lasting memories for fans of all ages. It's been an incredible journey getting to this day, especially recently, as I'm sure you can all imagine and appreciate, with what we've been going through to start a new venture from scratch, from soup to nuts. But we're here today to do business and start developing relationships with opening night only 147 days away. Please be patient with us in the short term as we set up shop, move into our offices, get business cards printed, and all the rest. And I thank you for that in advance. But we're going to do it right, because the region deserves to have it done right. Our logo is being finalized, but as you can see from the prototype today, behind me right now, it will incorporate a modified Atlanta Flames A to pay tribute to the history of the Flames. But at the end of the day, when the logo is completed, we'll have one of the hottest logos, no pun intended, in the American Hockey League. You can feel its energy and its strength in the form that it's in right now. Season ticket plans will go on sale starting this afternoon at 2 o'clock. We'll be taking deposits and, of course, payments in full for those of you who are so inclined. Either online at adirondackflames.com, either by email at info@adirondackflames.com, by telephone, we've kept the Phantom's number so you're all familiar with it, 450-3355, and by stopping by the team's offices as well. We'll be open for business today from 2 to 5, tomorrow from 9 to 1, beginning on Monday back to regular business hours from 9 to 5, so stop by and see us if that's the most convenient way for you to renew your seats or hopefully buy some new ones. As everybody here knows, there's not a bad seat in this great arena, and we can't wait to start filling it up again. Ladies and gentlemen, as has been said before, a new era of the American Hockey League in Glens Falls begins today. I congratulate all of you, and you've been congratulated by others here already this morning, for making this happen, going back 25 years of the American Hockey League in this great arena. And I thank you in advance for your loyalty and your passion in the days ahead as we compete for a Calder Cup. Thank you very much.
Recognition and some passing out of the new uniforms by Brad. Everybody. Those go on sale at 1 o'clock. That goes above the fish shirt now. Pass it around. Arnie, when the governor comes up, tell him we'll get a jersey for him as well. Arnie is right there representing the governor's office in Empire State today. Again, our congratulations. We would not be standing here again for the third time for American Hockey League, but not for the consistency, regardless of the consistency of the play on the ice, the consistency of the corporations, from our banks to the insurance companies to our beverage companies, and most importantly, you, the fans. Take another round of applause and thank you. At this time, we'll take some questions. I know the media likes to go off and separate the various individuals, but we will be open for a few moments to take questions from the media. Jim Scott in the back.
How long's the contract for?
Go for 2 with Mike's. It's a multi-year contract. The specific terms we don't necessarily want to get into, but it's a multi-year contract.
Can you sign a contract for 12 years?
Other questions? Yes.
Is there a timeline for moving the players here and moving most of the organizational facilities here to get started?
Yeah, from an organization, as Brian said, we're in business today. From a business standpoint, our players, traditional will happen now is, our players will report here after training camp. So these players here will all report to the Flames training camp in the fall, and then once as we start making player assignments to Glens Falls, they'll start reporting here mid-September. We're sort of in the process. We've got a lot of our kids that will be spending some time in Calgary with our people in terms of our strength and conditioning people in the summer, going to our development camps and those types of things. But the players themselves will start showing up here in September, middle of September.
Is there any word on what conference and division you guys will be playing in?
We recently, as a Board of Governors, approved a scheduling formula and a conference alignment. So we do have that information. Hasn't been publicly announced yet, and at some point sooner rather than later, we will be sharing that information with you. It will come from the league, not from the member clubs, but those decisions have been made for next year. Keep in mind, as many as you know, our board on an annual basis looks at conference alignment, divisional makeup, scheduling formula. So we know what we're going to be in business for next year, but we always review that on a year-to-year basis. You'll be excited to learn who we're going to be playing, how often we're going to be playing them. I will say this, the fans are going to see a lot of teams coming into Glens Falls that you haven't seen before.
Other, yes.
Will
previous season ticket holders of the Phantoms for the last 5 years have an opportunity to renew their seats prior to all the seats going on sale?
Absolutely. When we go on sale today at 2 o'clock, we start with our existing customers. There's no question about it because of their loyalty and because of their generosity. But they will have a window of time where they have an opportunity to place their deposits and secure their locations. And until that window has shut, nobody else will have access to those.
Plans for any kind of updating in the building at all, short-term or even long-term?
We have had ongoing conversations, and I say we, the mayor, myself, many other members of the council, from the day I arrived here, as I said last September, about the opportunity down the road with funding becoming available to make improvements to the building. I've lived in an environment in Portland for 14 years now where everybody, every team, every business owner is always trying to make their building better, as is every fan and every member of this community. So I have complete faith and confidence that based upon the passion, the relationships, and the desire and need to, over time, find funding that can improve this building, that it will happen. If that wasn't the case, I wouldn't be here. So I'm confident that over time, we'll see some changes. No guarantees today, but I know a lot of people are hard at work to make sure that happens. We're confident it will.
Other question, Diane?
Is there a possibility for more state money now that there is a team here rather than a question mark?
I think that the City of Glens Falls Mayor Diamond is continuing in discussions on the itemized list. That at this point, our first phase, round 3 that Arnie alluded to, is dealing with technology, some upgrades in here, upgrades in the arena for Wi-Fi, for the media, for the fans, for our basketball tournament, to get our marquee outside running again, so both sides, 9 north and south. Along with some upgrades, the mayor is working closely with Calgary to develop that fine list of improvements that is being required by the American Hockey League and the team, and we'll be submitting that to the state. We've received great support and encouragement from Senator Little and Dan Steck, as well as Empire State Development, so that will be forthcoming.
For the Flames officials, was this a close decision between other cities, or did you have an idea a month ago that this is where you wanted to be all along?
Well, quite frankly, I've just been on the job here a couple of weeks. But it was a fairly, in coming once I got here and speaking to the people within the organization, it was, for all intents and purposes, a fairly easy decision. You know, when you look at where, and just to give people a little bit of background, the Abbotsford situation, and a lot of people have asked us in the last few days, as you're in Calgary now, the team being in Adirondack, the close proximity to the other teams within the league, the travel, the ability to, for us it's about development, and the ability here to get enormous amounts of practice time, development time, getting people back in their own bed on most nights, limiting the amount of travel that the players on this team are on the road. That's a big part of the development equation. So you couple that with a hockey market, a passionate hockey market, and where there needs to be external pressure. You know, one thing for us being in a Canadian market where our game matters in Calgary, we need it to do the same at the American League level. And I know the sport matters here. We want to have success here. And again, that's part of the process for developing players, knowing that they've got to play in that pressure environment. So when I came in here, this situation was done, but it was a no-brainer as far as we were concerned.
Other questions? Yes.
Is there going to be a mascot?
Absolutely. And I think you'll like it.
Yes.
stay here forever.
Yes, in the back.
Could you just recap on where your office is going to be located? Is it the same place in here as the Phantoms?
Yeah, you got to orient, I mean, north, south, east, and west, but same place where the Phantoms work. Is that easy? Someone tells me there's a red line that goes from the offices to same place.
Yes.
Different colors, but same place.
Opening today, did you say?
Open today at 2 to 5 today, 9 to 1 tomorrow, regular business hours beginning Monday, 9 to 5.
Are you guys facing the Phantoms?
That's good.
Are you facing the Phantoms?
Are we facing the Phantoms? That remains to be seen. Schedule to come.
That's
from our heckler section.
You can always scrimmage fans, right? Yes, in the back.
Can we expect the Calgary Flames to play a preseason game at a humble little barn?
You know, those it's interesting because the preseason schedule for the following year happen. You do those really early. You get into September, October. We're going to look at all opportunities. I mean, a big part of, although we're bringing our players, you know, our players are here. A big part of it, we need to have a close connection. This is a very, very integral part of the development process and ultimately the success we're going to have in Calgary. So all those things will be looked at.
The mayor continuously makes requests to Mike Holditch. As you know, these games are not scheduled 3 months before they start. They have a long-term schedule that goes in place here. But we recognize the interest of having Calgary here. It is a scheduling issue there. But I didn't want you to think the mayor was not on top of that in making the request for the NHL game. And not, you know, what they normally is now doing is an NHL game against the American Hockey League franchise instead of 2 NHL games. You've got a better opportunity to see the players develop within the Calgary organization or whatever organization. Yes?
I guess past 5 years have been good. A couple of, let's say to the GM, a couple of names, if they show up back in Glens Falls, Ben Holstrom, if all of a sudden he comes up, or Rob Wordson. A couple of favorites locally here that certainly we'd be pretty happy to see back again. I think it's fantastic.
Well, first off,
Fitzy, yeah, don't forget Fitzy.
Well, those players, those players are all under contract, and we have very specific tampering regulations, and very significant fines that both my boss and my wife would shoot me if I was, so I will not speak about any players. But we're cognizant. One of the really interesting things coming in was the depth. I spoke a little bit the depth of the prospect list that we have in Calgary, and there is some. I think you see this in all organizations where a new team comes in. There's fan favorites that have been here. And I'm very familiar with the Phantoms. Many of you remember we had a little bit of a tussle with them in Portland. But as old fan favorites leave, new fan favorites are born. So I think you know, we'll get to work as free agency starts in July to make sure that we've got not only a competitive team, but players and fans will enjoy coming to see.
Yes.
What are you guys going to call the Flames?
Adirondack.
That's a good name. Hey, well, happy to wear a Fans jersey. What are you going to do to me? Burn it.
Again, as the mayor's indicated, we appreciate the effort by Jim and Rob Brooks because, quite frankly, without that 5 years of recognition by the American Hockey League, we wouldn't be standing up here today. We can sell this right now.
Right. Sometime later in the summer, again, we're still going through the process of getting local approvals, and we've got some work to do, but we understand the value of getting our brand in the marketplace, and we know there's interest here. The amount of merchandise that was sold by the Phantoms over the last couple of years was encouraging to us, so we're going to carefully put together a nice arrangement of goods and ones that I think will be very popular in this market. And that takes some time, takes some ordering, takes some planning. So stay tuned. We'll keep everybody informed of that timetable.
Okay, a couple more questions. Right here.
Can you address whether we can look forward to another Northway series with Albany? Or is it too premature to comment on that?
Premature. You're going to be excited by our schedule. Again, you're going to see a lot of teams that you haven't seen here before. Certainly, you will see Albany. And again, that scheduling information will come from the league office at a later date.
Yes.
Will we have to learn the words to "Oh Canada"?
Already going. Hey, first of all, I got to fix my BlackBerry. Yes.
The Phantoms did an excellent job with the youth hockey organization. Are they going to continue to carry that on and work with the AYHA?
Absolutely. I think it's part and parcel to our commitment to the community. If you look at what again, history is what it is. I don't like to look in the rearview mirror, but we were very involved with youth hockey in Portland over the 14 years that I was able to shepherd that organization. And when you go back before I got to Portland, I spent 8 years at USA Hockey. So I lived and breathed USA Hockey, youth hockey, from cradle to grave on a recreational level, on a participation level. I'm a big believer in it. It's part of my DNA, and that will certainly continue in this community, and we hope to grow it.
And part of Lions DNA, if we ever need a backup goalie, Brian was all-American goalie and Harvard.
Not for all the tea in China, you're going to get your backup.
Take two more questions, right? Who's over here? Right there, yeah.
Have any coaching decisions been made?
I think, as I mentioned earlier, we're going through that process right now. I've got a fairly significant long to-do list in taking over this job. The team that was in Abbotsford last year had a coaching staff that's still in place, and right now for me it's just getting familiarized with those gentlemen. I went into Abbotsford, I think it was a week ago, to the exit meetings, the year-end meetings, met with the players, met with the coaches, met with our head coach in Calgary, Bob Hartley, over the course of this week in Toronto during our scouting meetings. So we're going through all that process, and hopefully, we'll work through it here fairly quickly.
One more question. Who hasn't? Did you ask questions before?
Do you have a price structure for single game tickets?
Yes, again, that'll be available to everybody at 2 o'clock today, and it's actually on our website probably as we speak, folks. We up and running? Yes. Yes, so you can check AdirondackFlames.com to get that information.
I think that concludes the questions from the fans and the media. Again, thank you very much for your support. I thank you. This is your team. Enjoy the week.